Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today I am ranking every single Prestige Survivor cosmetic. And you may be wondering why I sound a little bit worse than usual, and for once it's not because I'm sick, it's because my microphone decided to just stop working. And this has me very sad. This is a very expensive microphone. This is a very, very expensive microphone, like $250 expensive. And yeah, it decided to stop working, and unfortunately I'm not happy about that at all. But currently in the middle of trying to get a refund for it, or at least get a new one sent or something. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to sound a little bit bad for a while. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. And yeah, let's get straight into the rankings. And yes, unfortunately our first and therefore worst one belongs to Mikaela Reed, and that's very unfortunate. I like Mikaela as a character, and yeah, her prestige is just not it though, unfortunately. It just doesn't have enough going on. There's not enough blood splatter, there's not enough, like, anything covering her. It kind of looks like the default cosmetic, and usually prestiges do look like the default cosmetic. It's just this looks exactly like the default cosmetic with a few extra steps on it, and it's just not enough for me to want to put in all the work of grinding up that 4.5 million blood points just to prestige her to 6 just for that cosmetic. But yeah, that being said, it's, you know, it's not a terrible skin, it's just not a good prestige skin. So yeah, let's continue. Now coming up next is unfortunately my boy Leon, and yeah, this one is pretty sad because the prestige skin just is weird, okay? So it has a lot of blood on it, specifically centered around his torso piece. Every other piece seems to have next to nothing on it. I get this is the RPD armor that's covering his chest, like that is the, like, homie's strapped, and he's showing how much that is working for him, but it's just not enough for me to warrant it being like a prestige. Like, a prestige should be you're covered in blood. Like, you are this is a flashy cosmetic because of how much work you put into this one specific character. It shouldn't be like, hey, they're slightly different and it almost looks cool. You know what I mean? It does look cool, but it's just not what I would pay for. Like, it's not what I put in all the work for. It's my most precious resource, my time. I need to spend that on good cosmetics. Anyway, yeah, this one just isn't it. Sorry, Leon. And let's move on. Next up is the man, the myth, the legend, Yoichi. And this one you're probably a bit confused about because he has blood on him and it looks good. It's just the fact that they had a yellow coat and they did not cover it in absolutely pouring blood, which makes me sad. Maybe that's like my want for Pennywise in the game and it as a whole, but like, where's the beautiful red yellow shirt, guys? Where is it? I think, yeah, it's probably just a thing with me, but the rest of him is really cool. It's just that coat kind of makes me sad, the way it's not enough blood on it. Like, there's just not enough. It's just nearly there. There's not enough. And yeah, oh well, let's continue. Another minorly confusing one because Felix just has blood everywhere, but the problem with this is that, I say everywhere, but he doesn't have it realistically on his head and face, and it doesn't look good where it is because it's kind of all over his suit, which is kind of camouflaging it and blending it in, which usually wouldn't be a problem for me if there was copious amounts of blood, which of course there isn't because there never is. But yeah, you know, like, come on, there's more than that. You know, survivors and killers both pour out more blood than that per match. Like, come on. And he's got a little bit on his suit, which kind of blends in. Like, it isn't a little bit, to be fair, it's quite a bit, but it all blends in, and it's just, it doesn't look good because it blends in. Sorry, Felix. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Ah, yes, Steve. There's just not enough blood on your cosmetic for me to consider it, like, worth it. It looks cool, don't get me wrong, but this is a character with outfits. This isn't the only cosmetic he's gonna have, so this one doesn't need to look super cool, obviously, but they still didn't do much with it at all. They just kind of painted him a little bit with blood. And even then, like, it isn't a terrible amount, sure, but it's like, where's the big gory chunks that I want? Where's my yucky stuff to look at? Where is that? Where is it? It's just not there because there's just not enough blood on him. But yeah, let's move on. Next up we have Jeff. Now, I don't mind Jeff's because of the nice like reflective sort of effects that are on it, but it's not amazing. It's just really mid actually because of the amount. There's just not enough. Like, these are characters in a game where you have to work so hard to get these cosmetics, and there's not enough blood on them. There's not enough of the cosmetics showing. That's like having like any outfit and it's just relatively similar, like any free outfit, like this new Huntress one that's in the store, you know, the what's it called, the Welsh Marie one. That is, imagine if that was just Huntress's skin but slightly different colored. You know, you have to spend all that time getting all those little points, only to spend it on something that's effectively the same. Sure, prestige is just a bonus of getting a bigger number next to your name, but even then, I feel like there should be more to this and all prestige cosmetics. Like, there should be just more to them. Maybe I'm just greedy. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, we have Renato. Now, Renato is not a terrible prestige, to be honest. It's pretty good, and like this time the role's kind of reversed, so his face is covered, which is exactly what I'm after, but his body isn't. His torso kind of half is, and then his legs just aren't. So unfortunately it isn't as good as it seems, even though he's got his whole head covered. It's just, yeah, it's an unfortunate turn of events, but yeah, you know, hopefully again in the future Dead by Daylight decides to just up their prestige game to the max and be the very, very best they can possibly be. But yeah, this is a bit mid, so let's continue. Feng Min. Unfortunately, I'm very mid prestige skin. It just kind of looks like she smeared blood instead of sunscreen all over herself, and what I mean by that is the blood is nicely spaced out, but because of the type that it is, and it's just like almost like it's been rubbed in, not like it's been splattered on her, or like there's chunks of gore on her, which there isn't. It's just kind of these couple of you know, little patches of blood. It's honestly, it's just not it's just you can tell it's a prestige, but it's not one that you're gonna go, oh wow, that's so cool, I can't wait to get that. It's just kind of, oh, I guess I can use the headpiece in some cosmetic matchups, and that's about it. So yeah, let's move on. Jane Romero. Now hers actually isn't as bad as some of the other ones. Like, there's a decent amount of blood, it's nice and reflective, and it's placed all over her, so you're probably wondering why it's kind of low, or why it's kind of lowly ranked compared to the other ones, and it's just kind of because there's better ones. And honestly, like, this is just kind of, it's decent, don't get me wrong, it's just not ideal. It's the type of blood, again, this is probably just a big thing with me, is like, it's not really like big chunky splashes of gore. It's just kind of little teeny tiny streaks of blood, and it's just, how did you get that on you at that angle? That doesn't make much sense, you know. Unless she was like literally bathed in it, or sorry, held under a shower. It's yeah, just, I don't know, just kind of mid, but good looking still, very, very cool. Love the shiny reflections and all the copious amounts of it. It's just, yeah, it's just not really my thing, you know. It's just, I wish more. I'm just really greedy when it comes to Dead by Daylight free cosmetics, guys. Nancy Wheeler. I'm gonna get shit for putting this one this low. So, she's not bad. She has good copious amounts of blood on her, and it is the gory shit that I like. It's just now they've decided to take away all those streaks of blood that I was talking about before. So there's no like excessive amounts, there's just these sort of minimalistic little bits every here and there, and it's like not bad, like it's very noticeable. And on her white sweater it looks very good and very, very horrific and gory and everything we want, but it's just not it, because now there's less of it than there should be. I don't know, again, I am just a bit nitpicky, but it is, you know, these skins are something I appreciate having. So I'm a bit, I want, and this should be, and yeah, I mean, these are all personal opinions, so you don't have to agree with me, but this is exactly what I think, and I feel like they should have done a lot better with her. Now, Ash's prestige is actually really cool. I like it. Like, his robot hand is covered in blood, and it looks sick. His outfit, again, he's coated in it. He looks cool, and it's the good shit. The only reason I'm rating it so low is because it looks so weird. It's like they went with a entirely different model or material instead of blood. It's like they chose something else, almost like a matte paint, and it's like just weird. It's just strange to look at. I don't know. Is it just me? I feel like he just doesn't look proper. Like something's wrong. Yeah, it just doesn't fit. It's like not the same art style. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, someone's gonna chew my head off in the comments for this one. Sable is not number one, guys. And for those reasonable survivor mains, they will be able to see why. And it is due to the fact that she has, like, no blood on her at all. Like, seriously, there's nothing there. The only redeemable, model of her character here is her head, which actually does have a little bit of blood on it. But, like, she's a newer survivor. She should be completely coated in it. All the good stuff. But nah, we're missing out on most of it. It's just kind of mid. For a newer survivor, it's weird. It's weird to see this, like, lack of any effort. It's just a couple different decals, that's about it. And, yeah, you know, I feel like she, as, like, Sable, should look like that scene out of Carrie. Those who have seen the movie will know what I'm talking about. And, yeah, just in Sable's outfit. Like, that should be her prestige. I feel like that would fit her so much better, being the, like, typical emo survivor, the most accustomed to the realm already. But she has no blood on her prestige, which is weird, but yeah, let's move on. Meg, honestly, I don't mind Meg's. It's not too bad, but it's just, again, the amount of blood is great, but the type of blood is awful. Like, there's no different types, there's no chunks. Being in the realm, you're going against a bunch of different killers. You'd figure that this prestige would be from a bunch of different attacks with a bunch of different weapons. You're not going to get the same decals from the same weapon, especially not if you're mixing like trappers and then hillbillies. Right? That's a hammer versus a chainsaw. Oh, sorry, that's a machete basically, or a cleaver versus a chainsaw, or occasionally a hammer, and it's just not going to apply the same decals. But yeah, you know, I don't exactly know what the lore on the prestiges is. It could just be how many times they die or get hooked or whatever, but this doesn't seem right, you know? Either way, I know that she's a really old survivor, but all the old survivors and killers models did just get reworked, so I'm not exactly fond of the fact that it isn't good. Like, it should be better than this, but oh well, you know, let's just continue because, yeah, you know, Megs isn't bad, it's not good though, it's just meh. Big ol' meh. A lot of these are, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on. Gabriel, again, another really new survivor with a terrible prestige cosmetic except for the head. I don't understand what their whole prerogative is. Either way, his head cosmetic is dope. I love it, it's awesome. But his body is just kind of really in the middle of everything. Like, why does it have almost no difference? It's got a little bit of blood on it, but that's about it. And again, if you're going against all these different killers across all these different realms, you're definitely going to have some different effects. Something different happen to you, or something different happen to those around you. It's just, yeah, you know, this is just kind of very mid, except for the head. Another new survivor. Now, he's not as bad, and I do like the decals, because they look nice. Like, they look realistic in a way. That's why these guys are rated higher than the other people who just aren't really there either. It's just, yeah, these ones are slightly nicer because they are more realistic, because they're newer, and I just wish they went the full way. Like, this is just a small part of a chapter. They can dedicate more work to this if they want to. No one's going to be mad about that. In fact, it's going to do the very opposite and encourage progression. Either way, oh well, let's move on. Now, Vittorio is actually one I don't mind, to be honest. His head cosmetic is pretty cool, and the rest of him is really awesome. I just think his base cosmetic has too much going on for you to actually be able to differentiate the prestige from the normal, And if they are going to go that route with having a bunch of stuff on his base cosmetic, then they need to go all out with the Prestige. Instead of adding just a couple splatters and a couple tinges, they need to just fucking coat him in it, because otherwise you're not going to be able to see the difference, which is kind of the effect that's been played out, is you can't really see the difference because of how much is already on his base cosmetic. So it's kind of hard to differentiate the Prestige from the normal. So now we have the conundrum of, like, he's not covered in blood, his Prestige is meh. Now it's meh. It's a good skin, but now it's meh, which is unfortunate. But what we could have had instead is better. Oh well, it's not terrible, you know. I'm not mad entirely at this one. It's just not great. And yeah, like, they could have done a lot better. I feel like with the future ones like the upcoming ones, they really need to push out the whole just fucking drench them in blood. Just pour blood all over them, please. That is just what we ask for, you know? Just make them red. Just fucking turn them red. I really like Jonah's, honestly. It's not bad whatsoever. The decals are nice, the reflections are nice, but the only problem I have with it is it's just so mid for what it is. There's not enough of it anywhere. And, like, the only real big difference is his shirt. Everything else, yes, you can see if you look hard enough, but with cosmetics, and if he was mix and match, it would just be kind of hard to tell that's Prestige cosmetic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just meh, you know. It's meh for a Prestige cosmetic, unfortunately. Now, what I think they should do with a Prestige cosmetic, and I'll talk about this more at the end, is add rarity tiers to them. So, like at Prestige 4, when you first get the first piece of a Prestige cosmetic, instead you get the whole green outfit, but you get a really mild version of the Prestige. So instead of being completely coated in blood like we all want, it's kind of like how some of these mid skins are, where they have just a little bit. And then at Prestige 4 you get a like purple rarity, and then that is just got slightly more decals, a couple more effects on it. And then at Prestige 6 you get like the ultra rare rarity or the red rarity, and then that's just covered in blood, just completely from head to toe. Either way, I'll talk about that more at the end. That's just an idea I like to go through with. So yeah, let's continue. Now, Zarina's a little bit difficult for me to rank because her coat and pants color just kind of blend in with the blood, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't look bad. I like Zarina's, it's pretty cool. There's just not enough decals of gore on there. Like, I like the reflections, I like the streaks, just not enough gore. And I know that her face is pretty well covered too. It's just, yeah, you know, missing out on that, just that extra piece, you know? That bit that's just sort of like, oh, this is disgusting, which is kind of exactly what we're all after if you think about it. Even though it doesn't seem to work that way, or it shouldn't work that way. The skin we want, and we all view it as disgusting. Either way, yeah, I don't mind Zarina's. It's not terrible. It's just there are better ones to come. So yeah, let's move on. Now, Yui's I like a lot more because there's a lot of decals all over her arms and sort of specific areas. It goes from like little teeny tiny bits of blood and a couple of streaks to a lot covered in gore. Disgusting, gruesome. That is exactly what we're after. That is the stuff we like to see. Now, it's like, sure, it's not covering her entire body, but there's so much detail in where it is covering that it just kind of makes up for it. In a way, at least that's what I like to think, that's what I like to see, and yeah, honestly, it's cool. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, personally, it's a personal thing, personal list. I think it's pretty cool, and yeah, you know, it's not a bad Prestige anyway. Like, you can really notice she is a Prestige with her torso and her head, especially. Her pants, kind of, not so much. They are pretty covered though. But yeah, with all that said, let's move on. Elodie is actually not a terrible one. I do like her torso, how it's completely covered, but her head really does fall behind. Same with her pants. Just kind of, where is it? Where's the blood? Where's the outfit I worked so hard for? Oh well, that's fine. It's not a terrible Prestige. It's just not a great Prestige either. It's just a bit meh. A lot of these are just kind of meh. I do like the decals though, the spacing and the like sort of effects of them are kind of nice. Like this one specifically is really chill. I do like it. It's chill. It's nice. It's not crazy. It's not under where there is blood. It is just nice decals. There's nothing over the top, nothing under the top, which is, you know, I like the over the top stuff, but it doesn't always have to happen, and it just doesn't look terrible. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Now, Haddie's one isn't actually that bad. If you don't look at the body and just kind of look at the face is awesome. The best prestige face I think that there is, but the body really does lackluster the fuck out of it. It just kind of becomes a bit of a mid-skin afterwards. Her face looks like she's been pummeled into a hole, and yeah, if you don't pay attention to the fact she's not injured. And the body itself just kind of looks like a hyper-reflective version of her normal one at first, and then you realize, oh, it's supposed to be covered in blood, and it doesn't look like that at all. But, you know, it's not bad. I like the skin still, and as someone who plays quite a bit Haddie, I like the Prestige as a whole. It's still nice to run, it's not bad, it's just a bit, you know, you kind of wish there was more. That is just the case with most of these, you just kind of wish that there were more when there isn't. It's not necessarily a bad thing sometimes, but, yeah, let's move on. Yes, Claudette, my main survivor. And, honestly, not a terrible prestige, but there could be more. It's like, I like the decals personally. I think they are very nice looking. I think they fit very well with her character, and her colors will just kind of match up, but honestly, there is just more to be like, wished for, I guess. There is more to be desired. It's just, yeah, you know, there's an overall lack of something in the skin. It could be the placement. I really don't like the placement on her one, but I like the types of blood and how gross it is and all the fun stuff. It's just kind of meh, you know, but it's not the bad kind of meh. Like the past ones haven't been. There are just skins that are better, that are less meh than the ones that have been mentioned. So, yeah, it's not terrible. Anyway, let's move on. Yun-Jin. Now, Yun-Jin's isn't bad. The white gets covered in blood, her face gets covered in blood, her legs get covered in blood. It's just not spaced out well at all. And there is no smearing, there is no gore, there is just kind of meh. It's like fluffled through the fur on her coat. That is a tongue twister and a half. And it's just kind of, it's there, it looks cool, it's just not big, it's not crazy flashy, and it's not, look, I'm covered in blood, oh my gosh. It's just kind of meh. A lot of these are just kind of meh, and it yeah, it's outdone by quite a bit, but yeah, it's not terrible, it's not great, unfortunately. Anyway, let's move on. Now, shockingly, Dwight actually has a really nice prestige cosmetic. I love the amount of, like, the different decals, the amount of blood, the smearing, the grossness. It is just great. It's really cool to look at, and honestly, yeah, I really like it. So, yeah, that's why it's up so high. There are unfortunately just ones that are better than Dwight's, but, you know, it's not bad. It's cool. I like it. I think it's pretty awesome. So, yeah, let's move on again. Now, Jake's one is interesting because his jacket and pants are awesome, but his face is just kind of mid. So that's why he's kind of been put here. He's still cool. I think he's better than the previous ones, but he's not cool enough to be considered, like, awesome. You know, he's just kind of meh. It's unfortunate, but you win some, you lose some, and I still like his. The decals are awesome, and along with everything else, it looks like a really good cosmetic. It's just not as good as the upcoming ones. Now, Nia's is another one of those ones that isn't too shit. I love the decal, I like the spread, I love how random the spots of blood are, but there needs to be more, man. This is just kind of sad. There's like nothing, again. But it is still, like, it's still one of my favorite ones just because of how cool it is, and I think it looks better than the average one anyway. But, yeah, you know, it's not bad, it's just nowhere near good yet. Now, David's is one I actually like quite a lot. He has, again, decal more specifically on his arms, and as a barb ruler that makes a lot of sense. And he also has a injury on his face as to what it looks like, either that or a copious amount of blood, which would also look like it'd be obtained in some type of bar fight. So yeah, you know, it's not bad. I like his is pretty cool, and yeah, definitely better than the ones I previously mentioned. I also do like the fact that with the decal, it is also the detailed gory shit that I was talking about, so it's not just terrible, it's not just boring or basic. It almost looks like they actually put a decent amount of effort into it. So, yeah, you know, I think it's pretty cool. Let's move on. Ace. Now, I like Aces quite a lot. The only problem is the same amount of blood for the decals, the same type and amount. It's just meh. You know, I just hate the normal streaky stuff. It's just so boring and overused. But, you know, I'm not a Dead by Daylight dev. I wish I was, so I could do more of these, but no, I'm not. Yeah, you know, it's not bad. It's not good. It's just medium. A lot of mids. People aren't gonna be happy, but like, you know, can you blame me? I mean, some of these are really, really sad, especially Ace's, you know. Ace being a character who he is, you'd expect him to be completely coated in blood, almost like he's avoided nearly every scenario. But yet, this is just meh, honestly. Just meh. Still better than the previous ones I've said. Not better than the ones coming up, though. Now, Jill's one isn't too bad. I love the different types of procedure. I love the different placement and like the effects, the streakiness. But again, it's just kind of maxed out there, you know. It's just streaky blood. That's all it is. Streaky blood. That's unfortunate, but that is the truth. And yeah, there's not really much else to it other than the fact that it's kind of boring. I do like her head cosmetic though. There's like a single line of blood in there that is streaking down, and it just looks really good. But yeah. It sucks because Resident Evil being Resident Evil, you can't even move around that specific headgear to a new outfit either. It's going to sit in your inventory forever. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, but oh well, we carry on. Now, Rebbeca kind of looks identical to Jill's in a way, just a lot of streaky blood running down her face, but it looks awesome in my opinion. I love it. And yeah, the only problem I have with it is there's only the upper half seems to be affected by the procedure outfit. The rest just kind of seems to be very mediocre, and that's unfortunate because I think Rebecca's is awesome as it is, but I can see why it's kind of mid. It just doesn't have enough on it. It's, you know, it's just that type fucking feeling. Like, why do they work so hard for this and not get any pants for it? But yeah, let's continue. Now, Ripley's one is actually pretty cool. She's covered in blood, her hair's covered in blood, and yeah, you know, it's not too bad. It's just her face is missing all the blood. They seem to be doing that quite a bit with the newer ones, just removing the blood from their face and calling it a day, but it is one of those things that some of us, me especially, loves to see, but yeah, you know, it's not terrible, it's just not great. So, yeah. And for Ellen Ripley, she should be coated in blood. And imagine if they added like a xenomorph acidic blood. Now I get that would kill her, but it's the Entity's realm. Just give her some green blood. Anyway, let's move on. Ellen's isn't even that bad in my opinion. I really love the effects and the way that they are in the lighting and stuff. It's just awesome. He's got one of the coolest like procedures in my opinion, just because of how nice it looks. But yeah, honestly, it's not bad. It's pretty good. It's just there are better ones than it, and yeah, I like it quite a lot. So let's continue. Next up is Taurie, our newest survivor, and honestly, not a bad prestige skin. Definitely one of the better ones, and just nice all around. There's blood everywhere, mainly on her clothes though. But yeah, you know, not a terrible skin, not an amazing skin, definitely not a terrible skin. So yeah, you know, not bad, just not as good as the ones coming up. You know, this is sort of like when we get to the point where everything is around the same level, but some things just take a few more extra steps than others, and then we end up with our best one. So yeah, let's continue. Now, Bill's one is also just awesome for the decal. He's covered in blood. There is nothing left besides blood. He's just coated in it. And I like it a lot. I think it adds character. I think it is just a lot of... It's just Bill. It's just Bill. I love it. I think it's cool. And yeah, there's not that much else to it, unfortunately, but it's super cool. So let's move on. Coming in next is Laurie, looking like she's been taken straight out of that night a while ago with Myers, and honestly, yeah, you know, pretty cool. I like the way that the blood is just everywhere. Again, do kind of miss or want the excess decal that just isn't there with this one, but still an awesome cosmetic in my opinion, and definitely one to get. You know, not terrible, and yeah, honestly, definitely cool. So yeah, let's move on. Next up we have Thalita, and I kind of like Thalita's just because her decal is really nice, the different bloodstains match up, she has the drips, the splashes, all of it, and it looks great, honestly. It's ruthless, brutal, but looks awesome. And yeah, I definitely recommend picking this one up if you like Thalita, just because it's super cool and yeah, it's super nice looking. And at number 9 we have Kate, definitely with one of the nicer prestiges, blood covering everything, the decals coating every exposed part of her skin. The only bad part is her face, which is unfortunately hardly even touched. Come on, Dead by Daylight. But yeah, honestly not a terrible prestige. I like it, I think it looks nice, very very sleek, and yeah, definitely really gross, which is exactly what we're after. I mean, she looks like she's covered in blood clots, so yeah, gross as fuck. Also meaning very cool. So yeah, you know, let's move on. Now I bet this is a questionable one for some people. Why did I choose Quentin as number 8? And my answer is because he is covered in blood. Different types of decals. The blood's all over his face, it's all over his clothes. He actually looks scared shitless, probably because he is. He also hasn't slept in 9 years, so no wonder he looks like shit. And it just adds on to the prestige's effect. The colours also clash against the prestige, which makes it stand out more, which makes it, in my opinion, quite a lot better. So yeah, I really like Quentin's, and I think it's one of the better ones. Detective Tapp, also looking amazing. And it does kind of annoy me how most of the blood is sort of placed onto the armor that he's wearing, but then you also kind of step back and realize that it's only just a tad bit more. Everything else is just kind of dumped on him, and yeah, it's hard to tell unless you really look at it or if you're nitpicky like me. So yeah, you know, I think it's cool, I like it, and yeah, it's probably one of my more favorite ones. So yeah, Taps is cool. Let's move on. Oh man, Cheryl's just been one of my favorites for so long now. It's just so cool. She's just, her colors are white, so immediately clashed against her vest, immediately clashed against her green skirt, immediately clashed against her blonde hair. It just makes it look awesome. They also weren't afraid of covering her in blood this time. They covered her face, they covered her torso, they covered everything except for kind of her bottom half, which is fine, I guess, but that's where the more to be desired is behavior. There's always more to be desired. Her face and her torso are amazing, and I think they are some of the best prestiges in the game. So yeah, let's continue. This one feels like a strange pick, because Ada's red dress covers up most of her blood, but she is actually covered in it. And I do like the way the decals made it all along her arms, up to her face, and down her legs too, honestly. It's not a bad one. It is cool, and her red dress is also coated from head to toe in blood. It's just not the type of blood that, like, most of us would be expecting, because you can't see it because it's in front of red. But it's still there. Just have a little look, and you'll see it. Next up we actually have Nicolas Cage, and shockingly, he has a really good prestige. His headgear is awesome, same with his torso, his legs not so much, but my god, his head is awesome. The way it almost looks like he's wounded again. And honestly, yeah, it's really cool, and it pays off really well, the effect looks nice, and it makes me want to play it. So yeah, you know, I really like it. The reason he's rated here is because the next ones are officially the big balls, the top of the top, and let's dive straight into them. Lara Croft has been looking like she's been raiding some tombs, more specifically those of the recently deceased. And yeah, her one is awesome. Different decals, different flavors of decal, different types, different colors of blood, just splashed all over the same area. Her colors react amazingly, and all in all, it's a really cool effect. So yeah, I really like it, and I think that this is one of the better ones. Yeah, let's move on. Trevor's plated armor looks so cool, coated in blood. Compared to what it is, normally it looks so amazing. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite procedures from the license side of things, just because of how cool it is. Just look at that. It's awesome. He looks like a bloody knight, and it's amazing. Anyway, let's continue on to our number 1 spot, our best prestige, and it belongs to... Bet none of you ever guessed this. Yeah, Adam. Adam is my number one prestige survivor. Just because, one, here's the trench coat. Already cool. Two, it's kind of like a lab coat, not really a trench coat, sorry. Two, it's fucking coated in blood, which is exactly what we want. That is a yellow, white, normal, and now it is fucking red. His face is usually without blood, and now it is fucking red. His pants are usually also without blood, and is now fucking red. But yeah, honestly, this is one of the coolest ones in my opinion. The best one in the game belongs to Adam Francis, and he is just awesome. So yeah, prestige him. He's cool. I wouldn't even be mad. Whenever I see these in game, I also think he just looks cool. So, you know, can't confirm he looks good in game too. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today. I really do wish that the prestige system was a little bit different. One of the ideas I typically always float around with is the good old, like, having a system built in where prestige 4 would be the, like, uncommon rarity for prestige outfits, and it would just be a bit medium. These things wouldn't have too much decal on them, nor have anything special. The prestige 5 would unlock you a brand new set of outfits for the purple rarity, or the very rare rarity, and when you wear those, you notice they have a little bit more of a decal on them, a little bit more blood effects, a little bit more, and yeah, it's just be cool. And then the final one, at prestige 6, you get a really heavily coated one, just absolutely drenched in blood, cosmetic, and that would just be fucking awesome in my opinion. And honestly, in my opinion, when you hit prestige 100, you should get one that is just actually dripping blood and it's just coated in it, and just, yeah, I think it's just so cool how they could do it. The way they've done it isn't bad. I just kind of wish like they had different phases and stuff. I feel like that could be an awesome idea. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. That's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I will see you in the next one, which will hopefully be out very soon, because I plan on getting it in before the new year. And as of the time I'm staring at my clock right now, it is 12:57 AM on the 31st of December. So yeah, that's going to be fun for me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.